What's up, everyone? Welcome into the DNVR Rockies podcast presented by Bet365. We are rocking and rolling here on this afternoon. We had to change our show time a little bit. We had to move things around because we had some appointments this morning. We've been running around this week. I'm actually at home. Spencer's at home. But we have a ton to catch up on because we haven't talked about opening day yet, which we're going to absolutely talk about here on the show. And then,
Do we have to?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of have to. And then we had two wins after that, or a win, I should say, two better games. But a win to talk about, obviously, Tomoyuki Sugano. We've got to give him his flowers. It's funny because we were just talking about this, Spence, before we jumped on the show. Although the Rockies have not had a great start to the season, we have had our show after a win so far since the season starts. So it doesn't feel like we've been warranted a crash out just yet.
No. Bet the farm on the Rockies Thursday night against the Padres because we have a show Friday.
Yes, exactly. But we do have to start by talking about opening day because opening day was as much of a disaster as you could ask for, as you could expect. And it's funny because I was actually watching, I think it was 9 News. Scotty Gange was doing like a full rundown of like the most recent opening days for the Rockies. And they had all been like kind of interesting recently, right? Like they had that, obviously that Rymack Grand Slam walk-off a couple of years ago. I think they beat the Dodgers opening day a year or two before that. Like there's been some close, interesting opening days. This one, I think, was by far the worst opening day, maybe in Rockies franchise history. And I feel like it's not that much of a hot take to say that.
No, you had no chance to win the baseball game. Like if you would have flipped the game Saturday for Friday night or Friday afternoon, I should say, I would have been in a completely fine. I would have been upset they lost or a little annoyed, but it was the Pirates game all over again without the unbelievable comeback, right? And that was what made that game so fun. And the fact that even if you want to dive even deeper, past giving up 7 runs in the first inning, you didn't even like have a threat for the first 3 or 4 innings. Like that was the real frustrating part. Now you're going to have some 7-run innings. Does it suck that it came in the first inning at Coors Field of the entire season? Yeah, it's pretty terrible, right? But if they would have fought back and got 2-3 in the first and a couple in the second and even lose, 9-4, 9-5, it'd been like, all right, we can stomach that. But from the first batter, the double down the line by Turner, a couple of walks, the snowball started going downhill in not a good way and never stopped.
Yeah, it's funny because I did see a lot of people crashing out. Now, I have said, if you guys watch the show, that I'm only allowing myself 1 crash out this year, which is already starting off on a tough note. But I'd seen a lot of people crashing out and saying, like this is a terrible way to start the season, that, we're back, like the Rockies are just as bad as they were before. And I think that's fair to feel that way. But I also saw a lot of people pushing back and saying, hey, it's just 1 game out of 162. Yeah, it sucks that it's on opening day, but it's 1 out of 162, right? It's just a small sample size. And I wanted to start by saying I kind of disagree that, yes, it was a small sample size. Yes, it was just 1 out of 162. The Rockies ended up, although they lost the series, they played much better, like you said, on Friday, and then they ended up winning the game or Saturday, I should say, and then they ended up winning the game on Sunday. I think that opening day meant so much more than just 1 bad loss out of 162 games, even though it counts for the same. And the reason I think that is this entire offseason, the Rockies organizationally have been preaching to fans that things are different. Things are changing, right? Things are going in a different direction. And yes, no, it's not gonna flip a switch overnight. We're not going to see this team become a world dominating Colorado Rockies road to Rocktober overnight. But you've been preaching as an organization that you are competent again, that you're not going to embarrass the fans as much again. And opening day is the day in which you have the most eyeballs. It's your World Series. Everyone in the state is looking to you to see if things have changed, if things look different. And I was saying this to you guys over text.
Bro, your text, what you sent Hank and I in your text was like legitimately it should be posted somewhere. Like, well, it was.
And that's exactly what I wanted to say, because I had said this to you guys over text. I think being a Rockies fan is a social risk, because not only do you get shit on by outside fans, but a lot of times you get shit on by your own in-state fans, fans of the Avs, the Nuggets, the Broncos, right? Because the Rockies historically have been an incompetent organization. So you're taking a social risk by being a Colorado Rockies fan. Now, we're all diehards, we're all sickos, so we're comfortable taking that risk. But for the casual fan, I think there's a little bit of a, like, I don't know if I really want to, like, be proud of being a Rockies fan and whatever. And so the Rockies this offseason spent all offseason telling those casual fans, those fans who have kind of gone into hiding over the last few years, hey, we're not there yet, but you can start to tune back in because we're getting there. We're going to start turning this corner here soon. And on opening day, in front of the whole world, the Rockies absolutely embarrassed their fans. And again, yes, the result is just one loss out of 162. It doesn't matter if it was a 1-run loss or an 8-run loss. It's the same result. But those casual fans who stepped out of the shadows to say, is it worth tuning back in, got completely slammed in the face. And I think that's the biggest issue is, yes, it absolutely is just one bad loss. And there are going to be a hell of a lot more bad losses as this year goes on. But I think you really set the casual fan back a little bit when it comes to the Rockies. And that's the unfortunate part about all of this. It's not the fact that they lost the game. It's that it was embarrassing. It's that they got nothing. They showed you nothing as an organization. And it just felt like the same old Rockies. And that is the worst way to start this year.
Yeah, it just tuned everybody out that thought, because if you're already a casual fan, you are going to care more about the wins and losses than any other diehard Rockies fan will, right? And you won't be able to compartmentalize a better baseball team, which we think this team should be, than last year. From, okay, they lost the first game, 10-1 or whatever it ended up being. They got swept in their first series. So their first impressions of both of opening day, and then home opening day have not been good. They've been, basically downright same old Rockies is what people will think. Now, the diehards will still be around. The people that truly care, whether or not they think the Rockies are going down the right path, may be up to them. But you can at least state a fact that they're going down a different path, which is what I still am going to sell to people. I'm still going to, I'm going to live on and die by that sword this year. Is not necessarily, I hope they're going in the right direction, but I know they're going in a different direction, which is kind of step one or a key to this process. Now, we won't be able to find out if it's the right direction for multiple years, but the way that loss happened on Friday, I honestly was as mad. I mean, I posted, for those of you that follow me on X, I definitely had a crash out moment in right field, and I kind of wanted it to go a little bit viral and hit the non-Rockies fans and the people that just would like to shit on me for being, but that's how I felt. I was so angry. First of all, one thing that I'm going to start to not like when the Rockies get good again, and mind you, I'm saying this right now, the Rockies will get good again sometime soon. I firmly believe that. Is I'm walking in to the ballpark. I'm so crowded, I can't walk anywhere. All I'm trying to do is watch the game. There's 40,000 other people that don't give a fuck about the actual game, right? They're just there because it's Coors Field on opening day. I'm literally like playing, like, looks like I'm playing paintball, hiding behind walls of people trying to watch the pitches. And then I just see home run, and I just see double and walk. And I'm just like, God, can you just make us not look silly for believing again? Mm-hmm. It's like I caught that girl cheating on me that told me she was done with that, and I saw it in person and with my own eyes. Yeah, that's what it felt like. I was just like, I'm such an idiot. Why did I think things would be different? And it was definitely an overreaction for sure, because it is one of 162. If this Phillies series would have happened in June and the Marlins sweep would have happened in June, I'd be like, yeah, they had a bad, but starting off on this foot with the new promises and here for the climb and the new regime. It just wasn't the right way to start. Does it mean I'm out? Definitely not. No, I fucking watched every pitch yesterday and was just freaking out once they had the tying run at the plate in the 9th inning, and Vodnik got through it, and there was great pitching, and Sugano has been great. We'll talk about him, of course, but it was not the best 9 games to start the season, the best collective amount of 9 games, right? The Blue Jays win, the 14-5 win, was about as good as it gets, right? They hit, they pitched pretty well. It all felt good. Dollander got in, blah, blah, blah. But then every other game since then, even the wins have been a little bit like, I don't know about this, the 4-1 win and the 2-1 win that was sketchy. I mean, great win, but like the way these games have gone, still leave a lot of concern for me as a hopeful, optimistic person that they are going to turn it around soon.
Yeah, and look, and we got a super chat from our guy Lux in the chat. Need to stop striking out. We could be 7-2 if we knew how to hit. And that's exactly right. And we'll probably dive a little deeper later in the show on like the specifics, but you don't need to wait until later in the show to know the biggest issue with the Rockies right now is 1,000% hitting. Your pitching has been good, which we saw last year. To be fair, they lost 119 games last year, and they started with the best starting rotation, like one of the top 5 starting rotations statistically in baseball for the first like month. And we were all thinking to ourselves, eventually this is going to come down, and it did. But pitching has been fine right now. In all honesty, pitching has been good at times. Sugano looked great. Our bullpen has looked really good. I've been pleased with what I've seen out of pitching. It's just been hitting. Hitting has looked not just like off. It just looks incompetent. It looks like you're on pace to do what you did last year again from an offensive perspective. So yes, Lux, 1,000%. Strikeouts are high. Whiff rate is high. Offensive approach has been bad. And the game in which you won yesterday, your offensive approach looked better. You only struck out, 8 times, I think it was? So you can see the difference. You strike out 15, 17 times. Well, 17 times they also won, but that was an outlier. 15 times you strike out, you're going to lose those games 99% of the time. You strike out 8 times or less and you have a good pitching staff, you're going to get some wins. So that's
and honestly, a lot of the way their batting has looked, and don't get me wrong, I played mid-level high school baseball. I'm not coming at this from I would be better, but a lot of the times at the plate, they've looked like a challenge that you see other podcasters or something doing where they're facing major league pitching as a average Joe. That's what some of the stuff has actually looked like it's happening. Like they're swinging at pitches that aren't even close. And I'm sitting here saying this from behind a mic. I'm no tough guy. I couldn't hit 99 on the black, and I couldn't hit a slider that drops off the table that looks like it's going to be strike 3 on the corner, and I'm swinging, missing at it. But these are professional athletes, and these are guys that have been hitting their whole lives and get paid millions of dollars to hit a baseball. You would hope that they at least look a little bit more competent. It's been strikeouts on pitches way outside the zone. The swing and the whiff rate is as high as in the MLB. And then there's a lot of the times guys, I think I've counted in the last 2 or 3 games, there's been 5 or 6 strikeouts on a fastball on the inner half of the plate that is right there, and they're just like frozen. It's like they're guessing, and they're guessing completely wrong half the time. It's a little concerning for sure.
For sure. And we have plenty of time to talk about that. I do want to transition into a little bit of positivity because we are coming off of a win, and we're coming off of a win that, in my opinion, means a little bit more because there's some underlying stories to this win yesterday that could be fun to watch as the season goes on. I see Tails in the chat says, I'm an Orioles fan, and not going to lie, this headline shocked me when I saw it. Sugano wasn't bad. He was solid to me, but to be our ace, not going to lie, that just blew my mind. Is Tomoyuki Sugano ace material? Is he going to be the next big thing for the Colorado Rockies? He sure as hell has been good in his first 2 starts. We got to pause for our first break. After the break, let's break it down. Let's break down what we've seen from Mr. Sugano and talk about if that can be sustainable. That's coming up next.
NFL Draft, then this is your edge. The Die Hard NFL Draft Guide is built and based off of thousands of hours of film study, being boots on the ground, Shrine Bowl, Senior Bowl, Combine, talking to scouts, talking to coaches, really getting a feel for where these players are best going to fit and project in the NFL. We're talking hundreds of players in this class. All right, so what are you gonna find in the guide? Well, you're gonna find player comps, you're gonna find strengths, weaknesses, physical tools, analytics, highlights, analysis from all across the space, everything you need to try and determine who are the best players for your team. You get access to the guide if you're a diehard, and you'll also get access to a couple of individual breakdowns I'm doing specifically for your team. All right, look, if you want surface level breakdowns, you can get them anywhere, but if you want independent thought, if you want thorough breakdowns on all of these prospects, become a diehard, get the guide. Or you can get access to the 2026 guide for just $26. Let's win draft season.
Well, I also want to give a shout out to our friends right now over at Toyota. Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR and the Colorado Rockies. And I got to say, I cannot say enough good things about my Toyota. I got a 2024 RAV4 Adventure Series, and it is the perfect vehicle to get me up into the mountains, get me out where I need to get, and do it on great gas mileage, great efficiency. Toyota has so many different choices for you, whether you're into trucks, maybe you're into SUVs, maybe you're someone who wants to be a little more gas efficient. Maybe you see those $4 gas prices out at the pump and you say, I don't really want to pay for that crap. They have hybrid options for you as well. Toyota can take care of you so that you don't have to worry about getting out on the roads and just enjoying the Colorado nature, Colorado backcountry, or the city, wherever you're going. Toyota can get you there. So visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson's Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson's Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places. Mr. Tomoyuki Sugano. If you had asked me a month ago, I would not have said that Tomoyuki Sugano was going to be the best pitcher in the Colorado Rockies starting rotation. But here we are for the Colorado Rockies, a guy who gave up the most home runs in baseball last year. Some could say that the Michael Toglia of pitchers. He is our new star pitcher. What's been your takeaways on Mr. Sugano? Do you think this can last? Is this just two good starts? Like, what are we seeing from him?
Okay, well, there's one thing I love about this guy, and this has nothing to do, it has everything to do with baseball, but nothing, is he's staying so on brand. Like, yeah. He's had 2 starts and he's given up 2 home runs, and those are the only runs he's given up, right? We were all worried about him coming to Coors Field or being a Rocky and giving up too many home runs that he couldn't stay in games. Well, it turns out he's only given up solo dingers, and he's staying completely on brand, which I love. But one of the things that's been super exciting for him is he was the first he basically should have been the first Rocky starter to go past 5 innings in his first start in Toronto. But the way it worked out with Springer coming up, shout out to Warren Schaefer for going to get Jaden Hill, who got Springer out, and they won that game. The other night, or what was it? Yesterday, Sunday, he goes out and gives you an economical performance. I believe he only had 1 walk, and that's what I've loved to see. Now, Freeland, Lorenzen, his opening day start obviously pretty rough, but Freeland in both of his starts has looked pretty good, right? Quintana in his 1 start, shaky, and then you had the Bernardino opener situation with Dollander, which was overall pretty awesome. Obviously, they couldn't score enough runs to win that game, but Sugano has been your most consistent pitcher. I'm very excited to see Ryan Feltner pitch tonight because he was really good until he got hit in the ass cheek last game and had a ass contusion.
Dude, he's got to get out of the way, man. He's taken way too many comebackers up the middle.
Dude, he's like Gabe Landeskog. It's like every time he gets back in the field, it's something else happens. That's just crazy. But what I will say is Sugano has been great, and he's been great in terms of earned runs and just good starts, but he's also been great at attacking the strike zone. And he doesn't throw the hardest, right? But he mixes pitches well. He's got a sweeper. He's got a sinker. He's got the splitter. He's got a fastball that's only touching 94, but he's hitting his spots, and he made the Phillies lineup look silly yesterday. I mean, he was getting swing and misses and big outs on pitches not even close to the strike zone because he had them so off kilter. I just think that.
And apparently his splitter wasn't even working, is what they were saying on the broadcast, that he wasn't, like Schaefer pretty much said, he didn't have his splitter working at all that game.
Yeah, which is crazy because that's his best pitch, right? And that's the pitch you hope that he can utilize at Coors Field, especially, getting some ground balls. But, I mean, he had a few. there was a few scary moments in there. I think there was that one McCarthy ball that he caught pretty close to the wall, and then a couple balls from Doyle caught pretty close to the wall. Schwarber with that warning track power, but overall, he's just been solid. And if you're looking at it from a light of, I know we're talking about him being the best Rockies pitcher, so it's a different world than some of the other teams. But if this guy is your 3 or 4, I mean, you're in a great spot, and that's just a hope. That's not a knock on him at all. That's a knock on your other guys right now for not performing. But Sugano's just been rock solid. I think he only had 82 pitches when he came out of the game yesterday. So once again, could have kind of rolled through it, but the bullpen was actually pretty fresh. And shout out to Warren Schaefer taking him out when he did, going to, Hill and getting the guys out and allowing the Phillies to score 1 run. I mean, when you look at it, the Rockies pitching, because there was a shout out earlier to Beozo for what he did in the opening day. It didn't matter because everybody was already checked out of the game, but kind of similar to the Rockies offense, the Rockies pitching staff against this Phillies offense, if you take away that first inning from Friday's game, the next 26 innings, they gave up a total of 5 runs in 26 innings to a lineup that's disgusting. You look at Bohm and you look at Stott and you look at Schwarber and Harper and Romuto. It never ends, right? So the Rockies pitching staff, led by right now Tomoyuki Sugano, has been otherworldly for Rockies pitching staff. In our world, it's been really good to see.
For the Orioles fan, who was in the chat earlier, otherworldly for us. Yeah, he might not be the ace on your team, but put him on the Rockies, man, and he'll climb that ladder pretty quick. I think the equation, though, that he's working with, attacking the zone, like you mentioned, is why he found success. You don't need to be the best pitcher in the world to be effective at Coors Field, right? You just need to be able to throw strikes. Beozo didn't by any means have the nastiest stuff. It's not like he's going out there looking like vintage Chris Sale. Like, his stuff was fine, but he was throwing strikes and he was attacking batters. I had seen someone say on Twitter, and of course people were crashing out, understandably. Michael Lorenzen, he was probably crashing out on himself as that start was progressing. But they were saying, I'm completely out on Lorenzen. I think his stuff just sucks. And while, again, that's fair to think that, I don't know if it was a stuff issue for Lorenzen. Lorenzen was not in the zone. And I don't think that's a stuff issue. We've seen what he can do when he's throwing strikes, what he did against Team USA, arguably a better lineup than, at least offensively, than the Phillies lineup. I think Lorenzen just couldn't find the zone. It was just one of those days, whether it was a Coors Field issue or it was just an off day for him. He was starting counts 2-0, 3-1 every single time. And you can't get guys out when you're doing that. It doesn't matter how good your stuff is. And so while I'm concerned about Michael Lorenzen, sure, understandable, I'm not out on him yet. I just think he had a really bad start where he couldn't find the zone. We didn't get to see what he could be because he was behind in every single count that he was pitching in. And then when he would eventually throw a strike, of course, it would get hit out of the park. So I think, you look at what he did versus what Sugano did or what Beozo did, and you see not a difference in stuff. I think all 3 of those guys actually probably have very similar stuff. They're not elite pitchers by any means, but 2 out of those 3 guys were attacking the zone. And that's the number one difference in my eyes. And we actually talked to Lorenzen after the game, and he was he was obviously really upset, but it was kind of funny because we had asked him, what would you do differently? Like, how are you going to make adjustments after this? And he kind of looked at us and he goes, well, I'm going to go watch Beozo's film and I'm going to go try to pitch like him, because he's like, I've got the stuff to be competitive. I just didn't attack in the same way. That's the adjustment you got to make. So I'm not completely out on Lorenzen either. I think it was just a bad start for him. I think Sugano, his just style is just going after guys, and that can get him into trouble with the home run, which we've seen. But I think it's a great combination at Coors Field. And I think if this front office is gathering any data from those 2 good outings from Beozo and Sugano, even Dolander thrown in that mix as well, you got to find guys who can attack the zone.
Yeah, and you've theoretically got, other than Mickey Moniak in right field and Edward Julian at second base when they're playing there, you've got theoretically a good defense, right? Karros is an above-average glove, Rumfield above-average glove, Tovar, center fielder, Brenton Doyle, Gold Glovers in the past, Jake McCarthy playing left field if he's playing there, a great outfielder as well. So you theoretically have the gloves behind you to attack more hitters and let them put the ball in play. I know that's a scary thought at Coors Field. You're going to give up a lot of singles, but you need to attack the zone. And it didn't even piss me off like when he gave up a home run opening day, or it didn't make me as mad when Trey Turner doubled off him to start the game. After Trey Turner doubles off him, he goes and walks 2 guys in a row. And that's where I was like ready to lose it before anything even happened with the bases loaded, right? Even if he gets a ground ball double play or pop out and he doesn't allow any runs, I would have still been terrified for the rest of the start because he was not attacking and going after guys. And it was just non-competitive pitches. And that's, you can't have that, especially as a Rockies pitcher where you know, at Coors Field, you theoretically hasn't shown it in these first 3 games at home, but theoretically your offense is going to get you some runs, right? So get to the dugout, be aggressive. If you miss some pitches and they get hit hard, that's going to happen. It's going to happen to any MLB pitcher, but you cannot be at your 50% strike ball ratio at Coors Field and putting guys on the base paths. Like if the Rockies were getting that and they had that kind of scenario when they were hitting, Warren Schaefer would be licking his chops with this team. They would be stealing bases left and right and scoring runs left and right if they were actually getting on base. Now, a lot of the comments have alluded to their swing and miss rate, which is very high, and they're not walking a ton either because they're swinging at so many pitches, especially out of the zone. But that's what teams love to do. You get a couple guys on base, you force the issue. You get to Coors Field, you get a couple of balls. How many balls did we see this weekend against the Phillies that were in the gap, if you will, but not even past the outfielders, and these guys were getting doubles off of them? That's what Coors Field does to you. But you'd rather have guys putting the ball in play, give your defense a shot to make a play here or there than just parading to first base on walks and then allowing those runs to be driven home. Yeah,
100%. Speaking of rotation, while we're talking about pitching here to start the show, what about Dollander, man? He had a hell of a game. I was extremely pleased with what Dollander showed us. We had, what was it? It went Bernardino, then Herget, right? Herget was in that little placeholder for a second, and then Dollander on Sunday. Great start from Dollander. I know it wasn't listed as a start. He pitched 6 innings or something like that, or was it 4 innings?
I think it was 5. It was Saturday's game, but yeah, you went from Bernardino and he was a little shaky, obviously gave up that run in the first, and then you had Herget, the absolute dog, Swiss Army knife that he is, comes in, gets out of the first inning fine, and then he gets through the second just fine, and then Chase went 4 1/3 in that and gave up 1 earned run, had 6 strikeouts, only 1 walk. And you know, 49 strikes, 22 balls, something you love to see, over 2-to-1 ball strike to ball ratio. And he looked comfortable. And I think, not that it's so hard because you don't want to, your future ace in a perfect world is Chase Dollander. And not that you necessarily want to baby him up to the major leagues, or, you want to see if he's actually got it, but that couldn't have gone any better for him, because by the time Herget got through the second inning, it was the bottom of the barrel hitters for the Phillies, which are still great hitters, but he's facing 8-9-1. He gets through that inning clean, and then he was off and rolling. So I really like what we've seen from Dollander so far. And I think, Quintana being on the IL, and, there's a comment about Sean Sullivan. I think there's a few guys. McCade Brown went to the long-term IL, so we won't be seeing him anytime soon. But
Tanner Gordon.
Right now, I think that, Tanner Gordon's waiting, kind of. My guy is waiting in the wings, but I do think that while Quintana's on the IL, now they're going to have an off day, so guys will get extra rest. But I love the start Bernardino. And honestly, they only probably started Bernardino because the way the Phillies lineup is, you got Trey Turner, who hits anybody. And then you've got Schwarber and you've got Harper, both lefties. So it's all right, theoretically, left on left to start the game. Let's not allow any runs in the first. And allowing 1 run in the first compared to 7 felt like a massive win, right? And your offense can hopefully score 1 or 2 runs at least those first 3 or 4 innings to get that back. They didn't, but you think that they can, and they more often than not at Coors Field will. So I love that. And I think maybe I want Dollander to be in the middle ending still, but I want him to matter. So if it becomes an opener situation and then Dollander getting 4, 5, 6 innings, depending on how he's pitching, I think that's perfect for him. Start him out with the 6, 7, 8, 9 hitters and then let him roll from there versus starting him off with this top of the lineup, running out there to start the game, and then he's getting shelled and losing every bit of confidence he has.
Well, and Sean said it in the chat. They handled the Dolander situation perfectly. They brought him in a situation that had some pressure to it, but wasn't overwhelming, right? And their approach with him was great. And he talked about it. He said, him and Alone were on the exact same page with pitch suggestion. He said there was only 2 situations where he wanted to shake off a pitch, and he didn't both times. And he said they were both ended up being good pitches. So he was praising Alone, saying that Alone called a really good game for him. I think it was great. And to see it at Coors Field has to be, a confidence boost. And we kind of asked him post game, about that. And he had said, hey, well, I want to do it either side, whether it be Coors or on the road. But he did acknowledge the home and road splits. And he said, yeah, it's nice to see that what I know about myself, right? I know that my stuff can work at Coors Field, to see it actually unfold, to see him execute with in 2 strikes. Here's the biggest thing for me. He went, like you said, 4 1/3. He gave it 4 hits, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. His biggest issue has been he gets into 2 strike counts, and he does a great job getting 2 strikes because he's nasty. He's got great stuff. And then his put away pitch just doesn't work. Like he can't get it. He's uncompetitive for the next 3 pitches. And that's been my biggest issue with him. So the fact that he got 6 Ks against a lineup that is an absolute beast, huge confidence boost. Yes, technically they didn't get the win. But I think that was a win. Like you said, if that had been the opening day, if that had been what we seen on opening day, sure, we would have been bummed. But that would have been so much more competent of a look than what we actually saw from them on opening day. So shout out to Chase Dolander. It is interesting to see, before we hit our next break, there are some guys that they have waiting in the wings. As Dinger's Burner in the chat says, Gordon, Tanner Gordon, Gabriel Hughes, Palmquist, Sullivan, they're all waiting right now. I also saw Luke ask, why did they go with Belloso before Gordon? I think they were looking for Belloso more in the long relief role, whereas Gordon would come up as a starter. I don't think they want to make it a habit of turning starters into long relievers. So I think that gave him a perfect chance to, because that Corey told me at the Rockies media food day, that was like Thursday afternoon, where that was when they put Quintana on the IL. I think they wanted to try, and they had it in the plans for that start to do the opener scenario and actually give that a test. And when you have 5 starters, you kind of just roll with those 5 starters, right? Well, now they had the injury to your 3rd starter who was slated to start the Saturday of that game, which was originally going to be Quintana. And they thought, okay, well, now we can, I don't think they planned on going to Belloso that quick, but with the game where it was, they probably wanted to save Senza and then wanted to save Chase. They knew that game was out of hand quick. So they threw Belloso in there, who turned out to have a great fucking 6 innings and saved the bullpen for the Saturday, Sunday games, to where they actually gave them a shot to win late with the right guys that they wanted to pitch versus having to pitch guys out of position. Yeah, despite the Rockies actually, having a negative record, they've handled their bullpen pretty well. They have not had to waste a lot of guys in the bullpen, so that's been nice to see. We got to take our next break on the show. After the break, let's do a little stock up, stock down. It is our Monday show, so we'll do our stock up, stock down. And then we got to, of course, talk about the offense, because the offense has been disastrous. How do you fix this? Is it just a byproduct of who they are as an organization, as a team right now? Let's talk about that coming up in just a moment. Well, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Bet365. It is baseball season again, which means we are back in the sports betting world. Spencer, I didn't prep you on this, so I don't know if you've got anything fired up, but you usually are pretty dialed in with some bets. You got anything coming up?
Yes. So let's look at, I'm going to go a little different route. I'm going to go college basketball tonight. Ooh. And the national championship is tonight. So once again, use that code DNVR365. Connecticut, UConn, our friends over at UConn, Dan Hurley, crazy lunatic guy. I don't think they win this game, but I do think we finally see a close game, which we haven't seen in the tournament in a while. They're getting 6.5 points. I think Michigan wins the national championship, but I think this game is going to be close. So take UConn plus 6.5. Wouldn't be surprised if UConn wins and Hurley kind of cements himself as this coaching god all of a sudden that brought UConn to 3 national titles in, I believe, a 5-year span, especially with all the love that all these other schools get, but I think we have a close national title game. March Madness is finally over, but take UConn plus 6.5.
Love it. Love it. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Please gamble responsibly. Must be present in Colorado. $10 minimum deposit required. Bonus bet wager excluded from returns. New customers only. 21 plus only. Time limits, minimum odds, and TNCs apply. In-app only. Void where prohibited. Well, I also want to give a shout out to our friends over at the Colorado Soccer Association. Colorado Soccer Association is the official hub for 65 plus soccer clubs across the state. They offer programs for youth players, adult players, coaches, referees, and families who want to get involved in the game. Kids can kick off their soccer journey as early as age 3, which I'm sure Sawyer is probably getting close to soccer time. Whether you're playing for fun, competing at the highest level, or exploring a career in soccer, there's something in it for everyone. Be a part of history with the 2026 World Cup coming to the U.S. and a new NWSL team for Denver Summit FC joining Colorado. There's never been a more exciting to play, cheer, and be a part of the soccer buzz. Want to get involved? Visit coloradosoccer.org to find a club near you and be a part of the future of the game. I was going to ask you, Spencer, are you getting Sawyer ready for what, T-ball? I don't know what the age timing is on like kids playing sports and stuff like that. Is there like T-ball and stuff coming up at, what is he, 2.5, 3?
I think 3 or 4 is when they start doing stuff. Honestly, when he turns 3, DU, Denver University hockey gods over there, they do a hockey skating program for a kid once he turns 3. So once Sawyer turns 3 this summer, I'm going to get him into some skating and see how he likes that. He loves to play hockey in the house, and he has his little hockey net, and every time he scores, he's on a big Brock Nelson kick. So he'll just run around the house. Huh? Brock Nelson. And I'm like, dude, he's
hit a couple Nathan McKinnons on me when I've been over at your place too. So
yeah, he's got the Nathan McKinnon down. He loves Cale Makar. That's by far his favorite player. But yeah, I'm gonna get him to some hockey, and then T-ball will be next. I know a lot of toddlers and younger kids do soccer, so soccer will be one of those things that I reluctantly will have him play, probably just because he's allowed to at a certain age. hoping he doesn't look like fucking Ronaldo out there, so I don't have to like keep him in it too long, or he starts chasing butterflies around because he can't stay. I wouldn't mind that, but soccer will be that first sport that I get him into, I think.
I love it. Hey, you got a question in the chat. Where was that mac and cheese place at Coors you were talking about on the pod?
So the mac and cheese place is right by section 119, 120, kind of on the Rocky side, right? Really, it's right across from the Rockies dugout store at Coors Field. Okay. And when we tried it, I'll be completely honest, so it had blue cheese in it, the one they let us try. I don't know if you're a blue cheese fan or not, Lux, but I thought it was really good. At the same time, the way we went and tried the food, it was already all set out for us. So some of the stuff was cold. So the mac and cheese was kind of cold. I'm not a big fan. I don't normally eat mac and cheese a ton. My son eats it 5-6 times a week. Normally not a big cheese guy, just in general, but it was good. And I do like blue cheese. So I thought it was delicious, but it was also cold, and I didn't really get a chance to fully dive into it. So I would say though, if you like mac and cheese, they have so many different options. I think they have a buffalo chicken mac and cheese. They have a vegan mac and cheese, which would be something I would dive into, because that generally means it doesn't have like real cheese in it, which sounds disgusting, but that's kind of the cheese I eat. I like to not have my stomach be a complete ball of disgustingness all day. But if mac and cheese is your favorite food, I would say go to that section right over by the Rockies dugout store. They got a ton of options.
Yeah, they got some good food items. My family's in town from Seattle this week. We're doing our baby shower this weekend, and so it'll be a lot of their first time at Coors Field. So I'm going to be going kind of as a fan the next couple of days, and so I'm actually excited to try some of these new food items. So I'll try to give you guys some reviews on the food items. Let's dive into our stock up, stock down. Let's start with stock down, because I want to end on something positive. Stock down. There's a lot in my book. It's early in the season, so let's preface everything we're about to say with it's early. This can change as it goes on. But so far from what we've seen, who are we stocked down on specifically?
I mean, everybody that plays in the outfield on your team right now at the plate is bad. Like every single one of those dudes. Doyle's not good. Beck's not good. Well, Moniak shouldn't be playing in right field after the couple of abominations he's had with
Or
the
he needs
Sun
to get
the
some
last
shady
couple
rays.
days. Yeah, he needs to go be the DH again. But theoretically, if you're looking at the opening day lineup of Beck, McCarthy, and Doyle, all three of those guys have been terrible at the plate. It's been, and not that, there's a bunch of Rockies out there that you can sing praises of at the plate, from the start of this year. TJ Rumfield's about the only one, and we'll get into them stock up.
Tovar.
But
Tovar.
yeah, and yeah, Tovar too. But yeah, I just say between McCarthy, Doyle, and Beck, if one of those three can't get it together enough to hit at the top of your lineup, we're going to be in some serious trouble, because Goodman's been all right. Tovar's been all right. Rumfield's been really good, but you need one of those outfield speedsters to fill into that ideally that leadoff spot, whether that's Doyle or whether that's, Beck probably won't hit leadoff. Beck's profiles as a 5-6 guy. And then McCarthy obviously hit leadoff a ton. So I don't know. Everybody that plays in the outfield, they just have been bad at the plate. And luckily, right before this stock down came through, I had to remove Victor Vodnik from the list, but he was firmly in my stock down for blowing one of the only blown save opportunity they've had all year in his first game. Came back, rebounded yesterday, got the save, even though it was a little sketchy. But yeah, the stock down has to go to the outfielders right now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on out there, man. And Jake McCarthy, he's not someone you expect a lot of offense from. He's a speedster. He's a guy that you don't expect a ton. You just need him to get on base. Jordan Beck, I still don't know what to make of him. I to be honest, I've talked about this on the show before. You guys, if you watch the show, I'm not a huge Jordan Beck believer. I'd love to be proven wrong, but I'm just not there yet. I didn't see enough last year, and I haven't seen enough so far. My biggest disappointment has been Doyle. Doyle has looked helpless at the plate right now, and it's such a huge disappointment because I think he truly has. I've been so high on him for so long. I truly think he has the ability. We've seen him hit really well at times, and I know we've seen him hit poorly. I don't know what he needs to do. So here's a little inside information. He changed his batting stance in spring training, and he started the season with that new batting stance. And Kevin Henry, our friend with the Denver Gazette, who was actually working on a story with this, we noticed yesterday or 2 days ago that his stance has gone back to its original stance. So if you watch his where his hands are, he was resting his bat on his back like this. That was how he was in spring training, and then he would come set and then get ready to go. Now he's got it back to moving a lot more. I don't know what that means for him, and it's a conversation I might have with him at some point. But I know he's working on things, but that's been a huge disappointment for sure. The other big disappointment for me is a guy that I was also really high on entering this season. Willie Castro has been terrible at the plate. His at-bats have looked uncompetitive. His swings have looked bad. His approach to his at-bats have not looked good. He hasn't gotten on base. I just have not liked what I'm seeing. I know I see Julian in the chat. Edward Julian's on probably the stock down list too. I didn't have a lot of high expectations for him.
Yeah, he's on the stock down list, but I also I never bought that stock. So I wouldn't care if it's down or up. Like when we try to do stock up, stock down, it's like guys that you would buy their stock. I just got a nice $3 dividend from my Royal Caribbean stocks, right? Like you invest in certain stocks, and some of the stocks, while they're on the Rockies and we're kind of semi-invested in every single one of them, more of the stock up, stock down was really guys that we either think should be good and are way outperforming that, or guys that we think should be good and are extremely underperforming that. Not necessarily the guy like Edward Julian to me is a big nothing burger. And I wonder if that Edward Julian guy that came after us and Twitter's still out there chirping, because he needs to atone for some of his mistakes. He's not been good at the plate, and he was terrible on defense yesterday and almost cost the Rockies a couple of runs. Like, yes, those were tough plays. I think one of them even got considered or counted as a hit, not an error, but those are plays you got to make, man. You're in the major leagues. Like, make those plays, and thank God it didn't cost the Rockies a run, but there there was a couple opportunities yesterday that could have severely cost the Rockies on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. Where are you at with Hunter Goodman right now? Because Hunter Goodman, he hasn't been his usual self. He has a home run, and his home run was an absolute bomb. Where are you at with him offensively?
I think I'm a little down, but at the same time, he's kind of just it's kind of the same Hunter. It's, he's still striking out a little too much and swinging at some pitches that he shouldn't be. But I've seen enough hard hit balls from him and enough base hits in the home run to be at least optimistic. Still, I don't think it's been anything impressive. He's that stock that we buy that's just going, slightly up, then slightly back down, slightly up, slightly back down. He's been fine. But I don't think, let me put it this way. While they're working through these lineup issues, and you were going to reveal the lineup to me for tonight at some point, because you said it's not great. So I'm ready to crash out about that, minuscule crash out. But I will say this. Right now, Hunter Goodman doesn't feel like the guy that if he's not catching, you don't need his bat in the lineup right now, right? Like if you're trying to and I'm just saying that right now, he's obviously one of your best hitters, was your best hitter last year, won a Silver Slugger. I'm not out on him. Don't anybody misconstrue what I'm saying here. But what I'm saying is if he's not catching, I don't feel like I'm not going to crash out if he's not also in the lineup, right? He hasn't been good enough to warrant, this whole lineup needs some changes and needs some tweaks, and they need to try to figure out what fits and what does good. And if Hunter Goodman's not in that lineup, if he's not catching, I'm going to be like, all right, well, that kind of makes sense. Give him a day off and try something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Absolutely. Let's pause for our last break of the show. After the break, we will talk about our stock down, of course, or our stock up. And I also want to do the lineup thing. Want to do some lineup adjustments, talk about the lineup for today. We'll go through that coming up here in just a moment. Well, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Xfinity. Xfinity, we if you are in the market to get yourself some new Wi-Fi, maybe you're getting set up for the summer, maybe you're not happy with the Wi-Fi that you already have, and you want to get something that you're working from home, you're playing video games, you're watching TV, whatever, and you want it to be a little bit more efficient. Xfinity is the best place to go. They have the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, which means the Wi-Fi you lock in today is going to be the same Wi-Fi for the next 5 years, and Xfinity Wi-Fi has been incredible. We have it in the bar and in the studios, and it is great. I've had Xfinity Wi-Fi since Wi-Fi existed. My family had it when I was growing up, and now I have Xfinity Wi-Fi now. They're great if something ever goes wrong. They can fix it usually over the phone, or they'll send someone out to your house. I mean, they truly incredible customer service. It is. I would never go anywhere but Xfinity. And like I said, right now, if you are looking to lock in your price and unlock those possibilities with Xfinity, you can go to Xfinity.com to learn more. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Well, I also want to give some love to our friends at Game Time. It is baseball season, and you are heading out to the ballpark like I will be, like Spencer will be. You got to use Game Time. My family, like I mentioned, they're in town from Seattle visiting for the week. Going to be taking a few vacation days, going to be heading out to the ballpark. We're going to a Nuggets game, and we've used Game Time for literally every single ticket that we've bought. My mom called me last night. She's getting our Nuggets tickets for Wednesday set up. She was doing it on the Game Time app, and this is actually kind of a funny story. My grandparents and my aunt and uncle, they're like my mom bought the tickets on Game Time, and then they were all going to Venmo her the money to pay her back. And my grandma texted in the group chat and said, hey, when you find out how many fees, you have, let me know and I'll send you the total price. And my mom was like, it's Game Time. This is the price. It's $95 for these, nice tickets. That's the total price that we're seeing on that. And so, Game Time is an awesome app because it shows you transparency pricing so that you don't get surprised when you go to check out and get hit with all these fees, all that kind of stuff. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today. Create an account. Use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Use code DNVR for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. All right, stock up. I'll give you my stock up here because I have not seen his name pop up in the chat. Mickey Moniak. Mine is his outfield play. Mickey Moniak offensively, just in the batter's box. In right field, stock down. But in the batter's box, Mickey Moniak, dude, what a dog. He had 2 home runs yesterday. He's been great. It is so nice having him back in the lineup. That those Marlins games where you didn't have him in the lineup, even the Blue Jays games, just didn't feel the same. So good to have him back. He's firmly in my stock up category.
DH Mickey Moniak is Mickey Mantle. Our at right field Mickey Moniak is like AAU player trying to figure out right field. That was rough. No, my stock up still going to TJ Rumfield too. He had a big 2-run home run yesterday in the first inning. And it's funny because the Rockies finally got through a first inning unscathed yesterday. So you're like, all right, come on, just put one up. And you have 2 quick outs, right? You have like, it's 2 outs, nobody on before you can even say go, essentially. And I'm like, all right, well, that's so much for that, them taking a lead. And then you get 3 straight, you get a homer, you get a base hit, and then you get another homer from Rumfield just over that right field scoreboard. And those 2 guys being lefty thumpers in your lineup. And, when I say thumper, I mean, it's Rockies level thumpers. We talked about a lot of the 20 to 27 home run guys. If Rumfield and Moniak are in that 24 to 27 range and both hitting in your lineup every single day and staying healthy, I think that'd be huge. I mean, this whole Tyler Freeman thing is kind of concerning right now. I would love for him to be in the lineup more, and I want him to be on my stock up because I'll admit that's the guy I quickly forgot about, that once he came back for the Rays game or the Blue Jays game and won them the game with 1 at bat, I was like, oh, I'm so back in on this guy. Then leads off the game on Saturday with a base hit. When he started, I'm like, this guy is just a professional hitter. So I'm hoping that we get our sweet boy Tyler Freeman back into the stock up category. But yeah, Rumfield, Moniak, and then Tovar had a 7-game hit streak, I believe, got broken yesterday.
8-game on base streak.
Or 8-game. Okay, there we go. So
yeah, Tovar, it was a 7-game hit streak. I don't think he had a hit yesterday though.
Okay, so Tovar broke it, and then honestly, the bullpen, I think I can give a stock up to just about everybody. I mean, Biozzo had an incredible performance. Dolander's had 2 great performances. Senzatella's been pretty good. Jaden Hill has been really good. We've seen the good and the bad of Victor Vodnik, but I like them sticking with him and him getting the save yesterday. It kind of instills some confidence in him. Juan Mejia looked good. So I think the bullpen as a whole is kind of getting a stock up right now to me.
Yeah. Jimmy Herget in that mix as well. I don't know if you said his name. He's been really good.
He's so stock up. Like he's like Apple or Tesla. The stock just keeps going up and you just don't even look at it. You just think he's so good every time he comes in that I don't even consider him. It's hilarious.
Yeah. No, yeah. Tovar's been good. His strikeouts are tough. Obviously he did get walked yesterday, which I don't know, how true this is. But Luck says the MLB radio said how Tovar had 25 walks all year and Soto got that in a month. If true, that's funny. I don't know that personally, but makes sense. Tovar did get a walk yesterday though, so he has an 8-game on base streak, but I don't think he got a hit yesterday, so his hit streak ended. But Tovar, I think what you're going to get with Tovar. Tovar he's that type of guy that you talk about. Herget's stock just like constantly going up. Herget's stock is like AI stock right now. It's just going to keep going up. I feel like Tovar's, it's a steady, solid stock. It's like Microsoft, right? It's not going to make you rich overnight, but it's going to kind of consistently hover in the middle and it's going to keep kind of going up a little bit. Like you're not going to crash out with it most likely. That's what I feel like Tovar is. He's just kind of hanging out in the middle. So yeah, stock up, stock down. We'll do it next Monday again when we come back on our show. By the way, in the future, we will have our shows likely on noon. That is our goal. We just had a lot of stuff going on in the morning today, so we had to move it back a little bit. You ready for this lineup?
Yeah, give it to me.
Leading off for the Rockies and playing second base, Edouard Julien.
Oh, thank fucking God. I don't want to hear anymore. Let's just
It's really the only bad part. It's actually not that bad.
Okay.
Mickey Moniak is hitting second at DH, so that's good.
Okay, good.
And also, I think it's funny. I mean, we're giving Moniak a bunch of shit. He's fine in the outfield. He just can't handle that sun for Coors Field, but he'll be fine. But he's DHing at second. Hunter Goodman at third, or hitting third at catcher, which I like him hitting third better. Troy Johnston, we forgot him. Troy Johnston, stock up, man. He's been great. Dude, he gives a professional at bat every time he steps up there. Nothing's been flashy except for his bomb that he hit in Miami or Toronto. Troy Johnston's been great. He's
No,
hitting 4.
I think he hit one in both places, didn't he? He definitely hit one in Miami. You were right on that.
Oh, did he? I didn't remember. Yeah, so he's hitting 4. Love to see that. TJ Rumfield hitting 5, playing first base. Johnston in right field, by the way. Castro is playing shortstop in place of Ezekiel Tovar. Brenton Doyle in center field. Jake McCarthy in left field. Kyle Karros at third base, and Ryan Feltner on the mound. So no Tovar, no Beck. Freeman, obviously. I think that's it. Those are the guys that I'm remembering. So
okay. Well, I tried to reserve. I definitely want to crash out with Edward Julian playing second base and leading off. I'm gonna go in and bet Edward Julian to strike out like 2 or 3 times now. But when Tovar takes a day off, like you can't really get mad at that, right? Yeah. He's played in all 9 games so far. Give him a Monday off. I'm fine with that, right? Especially considering they don't have a day off this week now. They'll play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday against Houston. Then they go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at San Diego and don't have a day off until next Monday. So, okay with Tovar not getting that. I mean, Willie Castro, that just goes to show you his versatility and his ability. He's played third base. He's played second base. He's played a little first base. Now he's playing shortstop. That's just why you got him. Obviously, you'd want to see his bat go up and be able to make a little bit more contact, get on base a few more times, but don't hate that. And then, Johnston, like you said, a little bit of stock up on him. He's been solid. You got to keep playing Doyle and McCarthy at this point. I just don't think, as much as I'm down on them, this is when we hold the stock, right? We don't sell it just because it's down. We hold on to it and we say, all right, we expect this to re-go up. We expect it to climb again. And as long as it's just one of them, to be honest with you, like I don't necessarily, it'd be great to have everybody in the lineup on fire, right? That would be ultimate, right? But if we're going to be realistic about the situation, you got to have Doyle or McCarthy or Beck when he's in the lineup. One of those 3 has got to be at least a semi-threat, right? Whether that's getting on base and stealing bases or hitting a little bit of power. Beck doesn't. I thought Beck caught a home run yesterday, and then he ended up flying out to the warning track. So if one of those guys can just have a solid day and maybe gain some momentum, I'll feel a little bit better about that. I will say having Doyle and McCarthy down at the bottom of that lineup, if you do get some runners on, maybe you're getting some guys on for Mickey Moniak. That would be helpful in that 2-hole, as long as you get it before Edward Julian comes up, and hopefully there's less than 1 out, because that's a guaranteed out every time he steps to the plate. And then you have 2 outs. Mickey Moniak, maybe some traffic on the base paths to hit a couple of 2 or 3 run home runs instead of solo shots like yesterday.
What's your perfect lineup so far in the season? Because we've seen now about a week and a half, 2 weeks now of baseball games. And if you had to craft a perfect lineup, 1 through 9, what would you do it as?
Okay, my perfect lineup 1 through 9 now would be Tyler Freeman leading off, playing second base.
Same page.
The 2-hole would be, it would probably be
Tovar.
Yeah. I'd put Tovar at 2, playing shortstop. Then Hunter Goodman at 3, catching. I'd put TJ Rumfield at 4, playing first base. I would put Troy Johnston, or I'd split the lefty. I'd put Brenton Doyle center field at 5. I know that's a little high for him, but just kind of mixing. I like to mix the left and right-handed bats up. Then I'd go Troy Johnston in right field 6. I'd probably go McCarthy still maybe at 7. Jordan Beck. Oh, did I forget Mickey?
Yeah, I would put Mickey I'd put Mickey at 5.
Yes, that's where Mickey would go at 5 and in the DH spot. And then you push everybody down. So then Doyle 6 playing center field. No, Johnston 6 playing right field. Doyle 7, McCarthy playing left field 8, and then Karros at 9. Karros, McCarthy, maybe flip them left-right bats, but like it's I don't know. It's everything past like 6 for me is just like fucking.
Yeah, I think we missed the second baseman. I'd throw Willie Castro in there.
No, second baseman would be Freeman.
Oh, yes. Oh, good call, because he's not DHing. Yeah. I think that's fair. Because you want Moniak DHing at least, and Castro's not earning it, although Castro's defense has been fine. His defense quite isn't there. So, yeah, I don't know. I know we're going to see a lot of different lineups as this year goes on, and we will start seeing some minor leaguers popping up in there, by the way. Zach Veen could make his debut this year. I know Dinger's Burner asks, when do you guys expect them to DFA Julian if it keeps going like this? I don't think he has options available. I think they're going to wait and see for a bit for all the guys. I think you'll get through a month or so. The Rockies actually surprisingly have a stable lineup because they do have some depth. I mean, we just talked about the fact that you have options at the big league level to kind of go to if you have certain guys not playing well. So I don't think they're going to run to minor leaguers yet. But I think once we start getting closer to June, maybe late May, those decisions start being made if guys are still playing really poorly. We got an update on Charlie Condon and why he was out of the lineup for 3 days. He got a cyst removed, so it sounds like he's going to be back, and he's been playing well. Zach Veen was just taken off the IL, so we'll get to see him here soon playing in Albuquerque.
Or Ryan Ritter, too. Ryan Ritter, who got sent down to AAA in the Quintana transaction log, essentially. I wouldn't be surprised. They're just like, all right, we need to get him more at-bats. He's blocked up here. But if a guy like a Julian or a Castro or one of these utility guys that's kind of playing all over the yard goes down, or you send them down, or you say we're done with this experiment, Ritter's the first guy I believe they'll just bring back up. And then actually, like, I was a little sad about Ritter, but I also would rather him play than play one game every 4 days at second base, maybe get one pinch hit late in the other two, and have 5 at bats a week. That's not any good for him right now.
100%. I agree with you totally. All right, we got to wrap things up here on the show. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us, and thanks for getting flexible as well. Again, we'll try to be back on our normal show time Mondays and Fridays at noon. As of now, we're scheduled to go Friday at noon. Going to still be a remote show, just like I said, since my family's in town, so I'll be doing things remote. But yeah, we're back. We're rolling. Baseball season is in full swing. Hopefully the Rockies can go get another dub or two before our next show. Like Spencer said, you can probably almost guarantee that they're going to get a win on Thursday before the show kicks off on Friday, because that's how this season has gone. So yeah, appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Thanks for watching. This has been the DNVR Rockies podcast presented by Bet365. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.